My name is Gabriel, and I have no idea where I am. It was about a day ago when it started. My family is what you would call successful. My grandfather was a stockbroker way back in the 70s, and he made a killing. He retired for a few years, but when video games started to really explode, he opened a couple of arcades, and well, it was a smart move at the time. Now, they don't make all that much money, but they were still pretty well provided for via all the cash that he hoarded before the arcade crash. And just a bit of background. For my 22nd birthday, I had a heck of a time. All of my friends together, we pretty much rented the entire bar and got entirely hammered. And that's when my friend Zach had an idea. It was a completely idiotic idea in hindsight, but well, we were drunk, and so we went along with it. For whatever reason, Zach thought it would be a good idea to go exploring the dark old drain tunnels beneath the town. Now, I've always been a fan of horror. Me and Zach became buddies due to a shared interest there. And the easiest way to get into the old drain tunnels was about 4 minutes by foot from the bar that we were at. So we said, hey, screw it. We finished our drinks and wandered out to go on an adventure. At first, we were honestly too inebriated to even feel the fear. And not only that, but another one of my friends, Tony, was there with us. A bit of background on Tony. He's a really nice guy. Literally one of the most outgoing, friendly, and altruistic guys that I know. And he could kill all of us with his bare hands if he even wanted to. His dad had started him in karate when he was only 4 years old. I've seen him take down 3 other guys single-handedly, without even breaking a sweat. And then he would apologize afterwards. Yeah, he's the real deal. And so naturally, any thoughts of, oh, what if some psycho was lurking down here in these tunnels? It was easy to push aside. No psycho that we would find down here would be a match for Tony. You would need about 10 of them minimum. And so we laughed, and as we went along, we tried to spook each other and wandered too far into that darkness with nothing but crappy phone flashlights to guide our way. The drinks had started to wear off a bit by now, and that's when Julio, the 4th and final member of our little expedition team, asked if anybody had kept track at all of the twists and turns that we had made. We got creeped out for a minute, but our phone still had signal, albeit not great. Even if we were lost, we could dial 911 and somebody would come looking for us. So maybe we were lost, but it didn't matter. It was my birthday and we were having fun, and Tony was with us. Well, until he wasn't. I don't know when he disappeared, and I don't know where he is now. I want to believe that he got out somehow, that he changed his mind and went back, and he left us here. It would be a selfish and a bad thing to do, but I would forgive him. We called out his name again and again, tried to backtrack, but nothing. He was gone one way or another. And that's when we got scared. None of us were what you would call tough guys by any definition of the word. And while our town is a bit on the small side, it also had a big meth problem. I'll tell you this now. There weren't any meth heads down in the tunnels. At least, no living ones. We found the body while we were out looking for Tony. It was rotted all to heck, but there was still an old black hoodie clinging to what was left of the torso. So obviously it could not be Tony. He came in wearing a white tank top. He had that whole Bruce Lee look going for him. But that corpse sobered us up in an instant. After we had finished vomiting and screaming and generally losing our collective, Julio decided that it was time to dial 911. His phone can't make a call while the flashlight's on though, so with shaking hands he deactivated it and he started to dial. That's when we saw Decay. You know, the instant that you saw it, that's its name. It was Decay. Elemental and pure, decomposition and entropy given gruesome, abominable form. It was Decay itself, and Julio didn't even have time to scream. It engulfed him in an instant, in a body born of worms and bone and long dead flesh, and he was gone. Julio didn't even have time to scream, but we all did. An instant later, we were running, Zach and I, no longer concerned with getting out. We sprinted away in that damp darkness, deeper into the tunnels. Anything to get away from that horror, the living embodiment of the inevitable. And after a while, fear gave way to exhaustion. We collapsed onto the wet ground and we wept uncontrollably. For God knows how long. Maybe an hour or more. You lose track of time when you're traumatized by the impossible. And when we collected ourselves, Tony and I did the only sane thing that we could think of. We called 911 and shakily told them that we were lost down in the tunnels, and that 2 of our friends were missing, and that we needed help. The officer on the other end seemed tired at first, the end of a long shift getting to him. But the moment that we mentioned the tunnels, his voice changed. It became grave and stern. "Stay where you are, keep both of your lights on and we'll try to find you." Those were his words. "We'll try to find you." No guarantees and no promises. He knew. He knew what we weren't saying, what we wouldn't dare to say. Not because we were afraid that he wouldn't believe us, but because we didn't want to believe ourselves. We sat in silence for a while, and then Zach stood up. He said that he wanted to look for a way out, that there was no way he was going to just sit and wait for someone to find him. What he meant was he wasn't going to wait for Decay to find us. I tried to stop him, but maybe a part of me wanted him to go. Maybe to find his way out, to lead the officers back to me so that we could both escape with our lives. Or maybe I thought that if it was taken by that thing, then it would be sated, that it might let me go. Pretty selfish, right? Now you know why I wouldn't judge Tony for leaving us, if he did indeed leave us and get out of here. I've been laying here since then. It's been more than 12 hours and it must be daylight out by now, at least for a long time. Nobody's found me so far, but I don't have much time left. My phone battery is running on low. It's below 20%. In another hour or 2, I'll lose my light. Actually, less than that. The flashlight stops working at about 5%. I'm not sure whether I should sit here and wait, whether I should try to find a way out of here, or if maybe I should just turn out my light now. It's still here somewhere. Zach didn't get out, Tony didn't get out, and God knows that Julio won't ever leave this place. I'm only kidding myself hoping that they escaped. I can try to leave the light on to hold out for a little while longer, to cling to the tiniest shred of hope that somehow this place won't be my grave. But in the end, you can't outrun death forever, and you can't outrun decay.